All right, let's jump right in. Today we're putting on our pulmonary healthcare professional hats to dig into a truly fascinating explainer on respiratory nutrition. You know, we so often think of our lungs as just these mechanical air filters, right? But the reality is they are highly active, incredibly demanding metabolic organs. So today, I'm going to reveal the actual science of rapid response nutrition, and together, we're going to build a totally actionable daily meal plan to literally improve how you breathe. Okay, let's dive into this and outline our clinical treatment plan for today's explainer. We'll start with nutrition in your lungs, move into the 24-hour rapid response, then count down the top 10 lung-healing foods, cover the dietary antagonists you really need to avoid, and wrap it all up with your daily lung meal plan.
Starting off with Section 1, Nutrition and your lungs.
Now, we usually think our lung health is entirely dictated by genetics or our environment. You know, things like air pollution or a history of smoking. And while those are undeniably huge factors, treating them as the only factors kind of leaves you feeling a bit powerless. The clinical truth is that your lungs are constantly working to regenerate and defend themselves, and they rely heavily on the very specific fuel you provide them every single day. Which brings us to a highly provocative question. Can food improve breathing quickly? For decades, the general assumption was that lung healing took years, maybe even decades, but recent clinical evidence is actually pointing to a much faster, highly measurable nutritional impact. To understand how that's even possible, we need to quickly talk about the mechanics of human digestion.
The University of Maryland medical system puts it perfectly. Metabolism is essentially the body's process of converting food into energy. It utilizes oxygen, and absolutely crucially, it produces carbon dioxide as a waste product. Think of it like exhaust from a car engine. And where does that carbon dioxide go? Well, your lungs have to exhale it. They act as the primary interface for your metabolism. Therefore, the harder a specific food is to metabolize, the harder your lungs have to work to expel that metabolic exhaust.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 24-hour rapid response.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we change that fuel. Now that we know our lungs are directly handling the exhaust from our food, we can look at hard clinical data from the landmark ECLIPSE study. They evaluated patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, and found that consuming specific items induced measurable pulmonary improvements in under 24 hours. No way, right? Less than a day. Eating grapefruit decreased C-reactive protein, which improved airway flow. Bananas gave a functional capacity boost, literally improving patients' 6-minute walk scores. Oily fish lowered white blood cell counts, reducing systemic inflammation. And surprisingly, a moderate amount of cheese provided immediate lung stabilization by actually reducing emphysema-related markers.
So let's get into Section 3, the top 10 lung-healing foods. Let's build our clinical grocery list.
That ECLIPSE data is incredibly empowering because it means your very next meal can make a real difference. First up on our list are our antioxidant and flavonoid powerhouses. Number 1, apples. It turns out the old saying is true. An apple a day really does keep the pulmonologist away. Research consistently shows that eating 5 apples a week significantly preserves lung function and slows decline, especially in ex-smokers, thanks to their rich flavonoid content. Number 2, blueberries. These little guys are packed with anthocyanins, powerful pigments that physically protect your delicate lung tissue from oxidative damage. And number 3, beets and beet greens. They are absolutely loaded with dietary nitrates that actively relax your blood vessels and optimize your body's oxygen uptake.
Next up are vitamin C champions. We've got citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, and grapefruits going head-to-head with vibrant bell peppers, particularly the red ones. Vitamin C is absolutely essential because it neutralizes free radicals in the body. This is a big deal for ex-smokers or anyone exposed to urban air pollution. Clinical studies show that people who take in more of these vitamin C sources have significantly better lung function because they are actively stopping cellular damage right in the respiratory tract.
Okay, moving on to foods 6, 7, and 8, our inflammation fighters. Tomatoes are phenomenally high in an antioxidant called lycopene, which has been shown to dial back airway inflammation and even alleviate asthma symptoms. Then we have Swiss chard, a dark leafy green packed with magnesium. Magnesium is crucial. It acts as a relaxant for the smooth muscles involved in breathing, which keeps your airways open. And let's not forget the spices, turmeric and ginger. They contain curcumin and 6-shogaol, acting almost like pharmacological nutritional alternatives to soothe irritated, inflamed airways.
Let's move to and see how this builds when we compare marine versus plant protectors. For marine sources, things like oily fish and oysters provide massive doses of omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, and B vitamins. These actively modulate inflammatory cytokines in your body.
On the plant side, protectors like beans and lentils are incredibly high in dietary fiber. Fiber is kind of a hidden secret here. It optimizes your gut microbiome, which then sends anti-inflammatory signals all the way up to your lungs, boosting your overall respiratory immunity.
And rounding out our top 10 list is the Brazil nut. Check out this shocking statistic, 150%. That is the amount of your recommended daily selenium found in just one single Brazil nut. Selenium is an absolute powerhouse trace mineral. It enhances your antioxidant defenses, aids in tissue regeneration, and protects against cellular damage in the lungs. You literally just need one of these a day to hit optimal clinical levels for respiratory defense. How easy is that?
All right, shifting gears a bit for section 4, dietary antagonists to avoid.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is that building healthy lungs isn't just about what you add, it's absolutely about what you subtract. You just can't build a resilient respiratory system if you're constantly forcing your lungs to process high-friction, damaging fuel. A crucial clinical concept here is the respiratory quotient, or RQ. It's the ratio of carbon dioxide produced to the oxygen consumed during metabolism. Refined carbohydrates have a very high RQ. Remember how we said your lungs have to exhale your metabolic exhaust? Well, when you eat a heavy refined carb meal, it produces a massive amount of CO2. For patients with COPD or compromised lungs, this high metabolic cost forces the lungs to work overtime, often leaving them feeling totally breathless right after they eat.
So, here is our clinical do not eat list to really optimize your breathing. First, limit simple, refined carbs due to that high metabolic CO2 cost we just talked about. Second, avoid processed meats like deli cuts and hot dogs. The added synthetic nitrates they use as preservatives are directly linked to increased hospital readmissions for COPD patients. Third, excess sodium is a major antagonist because it causes fluid retention, and that can lead to pulmonary edema, putting a heavy, watery burden on your lungs. And finally, skip the carbonated beverages. The abdominal gas buildup literally puts physical, mechanical pressure on your diaphragm and restricts your lungs' ability to fully expand.
Finally, Section 5, your daily lung meal plan. Let's make this actionable.
So the crucial point is translating all this amazing science into something you can actually do today. Here is a fantastic one-day protocol based on guidelines from the Mesothelioma Center that hits all our marks. For breakfast, start with oatmeal topped with those antioxidant-rich berries we talked about, and a side of Greek yogurt for lean protein. For lunch, go with grilled chicken or tofu for respiratory muscle support, paired with high-fiber brown rice and cooked carrots for beta-carotene. For dinner, try some baked salmon for those inflammation-fighting omega-3s, or maybe a lentil soup alongside some mashed sweet potatoes. And for snacks throughout the day, grab a handful of soft fruits like grapes and sip on some soothing peppermint or green tea. It's delicious, it's easy, and it is functionally optimizing your breath.
I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from oncology dietitian Tijal Parekh. She says, if you have lung cancer, I recommend increasing your intake of produce. Plant-based foods loaded with antioxidants and phytochemicals can help fight cancer. And that really perfectly summarizes our overarching theme for today's explainer. A plant-heavy, nutrient-dense diet is the absolute foundation for building a resilient, powerful respiratory system, no matter your current health status.
We've seen the evidence, folks. We know for sure that your lungs can respond to the right fuel in a matter of hours, not just years. We know exactly what to eat and exactly what to avoid. So my final question to you is, what is the very first lung-healing food you're going to add to your protocol today? Is it going to be an apple, a handful of blueberries, or maybe you're just going to swap your afternoon snack for a single Brazil nut? Take that immediate action based on what we've explored today, feed your lungs right, and breathe a whole lot easier.